Hi everyone, it's Nancy here, and I'm just going to show you the process of creating my front cover for my Scotland album. So if you've seen my previous video, which was my share of my stash, you'll see that I bought this Christmas decoration for the purpose of using on this front cover. And so I knew that that was what I wanted on the front. I didn't want much more than that. I did peel the green ribbon and that brown piece of felt rip-rack off, and that I decided I wanted to use, might as well, rather than just chuck it in the bin. I had to take a large piece of that jute just to cover up where I'd taken the other bits off, because quite a lot of that had actually ripped up. You're going to see me fuss around for quite a while trying to work out if I wanted to put a tag behind it or not. In the end, I end up not putting a tag on it because I think it is a little bit, confusing, but, I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm taking this packing tape, which is actually like gift wrap tape that I bought last year, and the spine of this album had actually got a bit damaged, and where I'd sprayed it with the enamel paint it had cracked, so that looks a little bit ugly. The corners are still quite bashed of this album. I'm not sure if I'm going to do something about that or not. I'm not sure what I can do about that, so if anyone has got any ideas of how I can maybe protect those corners, then please do let me know. So I'm just lining up the tape here to cover over the spine of this album, and it's quite tricky to do, so I'm going to have to kind of fiddle around with it for quite a bit, and it's quite difficult to work on this album because you can't lay it flat to do this. But I'm actually really pleased with the end result of this, but I am just going to cut out the video while I fuss around cutting that up. So as you can see, that's now done and on there quite neatly. I did put a little bit of glue around the edges to help seal that down, and I'm now taking my thickers and just putting Scotland on the side. It's not quite in the middle, to be honest, but I'm not too bothered. I kind of realised it after, because kind of how I had it sat, like the bend of the album wasn't straight, but I think it looks good. When it's on my shelf, you're going to see that bit, and you're going to see the tartan, and you're going to see Scotland, and then the inside is going to be, heavily influenced by tartan and stuff as well, so I'm just really pleased how this came out, because I was a little bit worried about that spine because it was quite damaged. So I'm just pushing that down to make sure they're all stuck on. I was going to put that 14 on there, but I really didn't like it. I decided that it didn't look right. I then decided to use some more of this sort of lovely brown glitter tape, and I'm going to put that just along the edge there of that tape. I'm taking one of the fabric tags that I put out, and I'm using the worn lipstick and then the crushed olive just to colour that in, and that's the great thing about these fabric tags, is you can colour them in, but I end up not using it anyway. The main thing is it has Paris written on it, and you can't see it, but I knew it was there, and it was really annoying me, so I think when I can put it inside the album because I can easily cover that up, but it just wasn't working on the front here. So I'm going to play about with these 3 bits of ribbon over and over again. Eventually I'm going to get them how I want them and decide I don't need that tag. And then I decide the easiest way to fix this down to start with is just to staple it through. And I know that that deer is actually going to cover up the staples. I do just use a little bit of my acetate glue there, acrylic glue, to stick that down. So I'm happy with how it looks, and yes, it's going to be plainer. There's not going to be any wording on the front there, but I think that how it's going to look is going to kind of lead into the rest of the album quite well. I am going to do a title page, and I'm really pleased with how this came out, and that I actually kept this album and didn't bin it. So I'm going to put quite a lot of glue on the front here to kind of cover up all that mess. There is a little bit of glue showing through, but can't actually see it too much when it dries. Because there is a little bit of bulk there from the different bits and pieces, as I said in my last video, I'm going to use my silicone glue. So I'm just using my pokey tool to take off some little bits of silicone glue to pop this all over the back of the deer. And it's a good glue because, you know, it helps with where there is dimension and uneven surface, and I think it's probably the best glue. It's been sitting now for about 4 or 5 hours since I've done it, and nothing's falling off yet. So I'm just going to pop that down, and as I said, I'm really happy with how it looks. And as I said, a little bit of glue did squidge out, but I just had to stick that down, and there you can see the final album. So thanks very much guys for watching, and I'll be back with some further process videos soon. Thank you very much.